So here's the ESM 59-inch wingspan beaver. I got it from Troy Built Models a little over a year ago. Finally finished it. It is the same size as the new Flyzone Select Beaver, but I can guarantee it weighs a lot more at 6 pounds 3 ounces, ready to fly. So it's going to be a pretty heavy airplane. Size-wise, there's the Pilot 1 PA-12 from Hobby Lobby. Size-wise, it's slightly larger than that. And so we'll see how it flies. Alright, I've got an 11/7 3-blade prop. The radial I bought from a website, and I'll have to see if I can find the link. They make like vacuum-formed radial engines for electric airplanes. And actually the pushrod tubes are just toothpicks. So you can see I've got offset on the motor to the right and down slightly. How much did I offset it? I don't know. I do know I had these spacers lying around, so I put 1/8 inch spacers on the two mounts on the left side. So it's offset an 1/8 inch at the back of the motor. How much that is out front, I don't really know. And is it too much or too little? I guess I'll find out when I fly it. And then there's also a washer under the top two mounts to give it a slight down thrust. Pratt & Whitney logo on the side. Some 3-inch Dubro tires. The fairing is attached with a couple screws instead of epoxy. I figured it would be a little bit better way to attach it. So now sitting inside, I got a Detrum 70 amp speed controller. I don't have I'd use the BEC from the speed controller. I have a separate one, but I just decided not to use it. The airplane is definitely overpowered, and 70 amp is definitely way more than I need, but I guess maybe I'm taking a risk by not using the separate BEC, but we'll find out. Now, something else you can see down below the speed controller is a battery tray I had to make. The instruction book that came with this was absolutely horrible. Said nothing, just said stick the batteries underneath, and there's no room for a battery, and so it's pretty useless. So I wanted to get the battery as far forward as possible. So I'll stick the battery in a minute and show you how it goes in, but that's a custom made tray. So the battery I'm using is a 4-cell 3000 milliamp hour, and basically the tray I made just slides right down inside here, slides all the way forward against the firewall. Let's see if I can get a better shot of it over here. I wanted to get obviously as far forward as I could, because the CG, in order to get it balanced, I ended up having to add 8.5 ounces of weight, so half a pound of weight in the cowling here behind the fake radial engine, just to get it to balance on the CG. And that's with the battery all the way forward, the speed control, and the large motor. So I just seem to find that this is the second fiberglass fuselage airplane I've had, and they just seem to have a lot of tail weight and require a lot of ballast up front to counteract it. Now, unfortunately, this model does not have flaps. It's got full span ailerons. I suppose you could probably modify it and maybe cut the aileron and make some flaps, but I haven't got time for that. So anyway, so let's take a look inside. So down inside, I've got rudder and elevator servos, 19 gram, same as the ones in the wing. It's something kind of in between a standard servo and a micro servo, so 19 gram is kind of an odd size, it seems. I had to order those. I didn't have any sitting around. Okay, so the instructions had some kind of funky rubber band set up, you can see right here, to hold the wings onto the airplane to keep them from pulling away. I did something a little bit simpler because I didn't want to even try to figure out what they were talking about. So if you look down in here, you'll see there's a single bolt with a washer, and in the wing behind the first rib I mounted a piece of ply and put a blind net in there, and then I just enlarged the hole in the fiberglass slightly forward And so basically that one bolt goes through the fiberglass in the fuselage and then into the blind nut in the behind the first rib. So that should hold the wings in without this top hatch for the battery access and radio access is just held on with magnets. So hopefully the directions are accurate, at least in this part where it says 53 millimeters. So that's where I've got the CG set. Hopefully they're on with that, because that's probably one of the most important things.